Okay, so please, after you see this video, just let me know if you still have questions and I can continue explaining it and giving you more examples. So we usually have the reflexive and the intensive pronouns together because they share pronouns. If you can see, reflexive and intensive pronouns, they have the same ones: myself, ourselves, yourself, yourselves, himself, herself, itself, and themselves. So you have right there all the selves. So when you begin to use them or you find them in sentences, they can get kind of tricky because you don't know if the pronoun is reflexive or intensive. And they are two different things. Now, the definition is the reflexive pronoun refers to the subject and directs the action of the verb back to the subject. And I wanted to look at this example. Tara is the subject of the sentence because you ask yourself, who enjoyed herself? Tara. Tara enjoyed herself at the party. Now, this is bold because this is a pronoun. And it could be either the reflexive or the intensive. So you'll say Tara enjoyed herself at the party. And this is labeled as the reflexive pronoun because herself is just referring back to Tara, to the subject of the sentence. Who enjoyed herself? Tara. So herself is just referring to Tara, directing the action enjoyed to the subject of the sentence. Now again, the other example. The band members prided themselves on their performance. Who prided themselves? The band members. So the band members are the subject of the sentence. But now what themselves do is that this is referring back to the subject of the sentence. Prided, the verb, it's directing back the verb to the subject. Now we have the last one, the intensive. And what the intensive does, it just emphasizes the noun, the pronoun. And it has right here, I myself cooked that delicious dinner. Now it's like we're using the same, we're saying the same thing. If I were to remove myself and I say I cooked that delicious dinner, that's understandable that I am saying that I cooked that delicious dinner. But if I add this intensive pronoun and I say I myself cooked that delicious dinner, I'm saying the same thing. The only thing that I'm doing differently is that I added an intensive pronoun. So it kind of makes it redundant. I'm saying the same thing whether I have that pronoun or I remove it. But that is the trick of how you can tell whether a pronoun in a sentence, the selves pronoun, is used as a reflexive or an intensive. Because in one, it directs the action right back to the subject of the sentence. And in the intensive, it's just emphasizing the noun or the pronoun. Who cooked this delicious dinner? I cooked it. It's saying the same thing. And the way that you can tell if it is reflexive or intensive is by when you find a sentence and you find a pronoun, you put your finger here and you see if when you remove the pronoun, if it changes the meaning of the sentence, then it is reflexive. If it does not change the meaning of the sentence, then it is intensive because you don't really need this pronoun here. I still understand what you're saying. So let's look at this one. If we were to put our fingers here and remove this pronoun, our sentence would be Tara enjoyed at the party. Now let's put it back. Tara enjoyed herself at the party. Does that sound peculiar? Does that sound correct? It sounds off. So the meaning changes. The sentence is not really, something is missing in the sentence. So when it sounds like that, when you remove the pronoun and it changes the meaning, then it is reflexive. So you need this pronoun here for the meaning to be understood. The same thing here. Let's remove this pronoun, themselves. The band members prided on their performance. See, it no longer makes sense. So you need the reflexive pronoun. And if you need it for it to make sense, once you remove it, then this is a reflexive pronoun. Now, for the intensive, you don't need the pronoun. You can remove it, and the sentence is still saying the same thing. I cooked that delicious dinner. I cooked that delicious dinner. I myself cooked that delicious dinner. It's the same thing. And here, did you redecorate the room yourself? Did you redecorate the room? It's the same thing. So that's how you know when a noun in a sentence is either reflexive or intensive. And you have to pay attention to those because they share the same pronouns.